Good morning, and welcome back to America's Leaders from Coast to Coast, the 250th anniversary edition. I'm Stephen.
And I'm Leah.
We are heading to the natural state today, Arkansas. From the corporate powerhouses of Bentonville to the rolling hills of the Ozarks, we are profiling the state's junior senator, though his influence in Washington makes him anything but junior. We are looking at one of the most powerful, disciplined, and unapologetically hawkish figures in the Republican Party, Senator Tom Cotton.
Senator Cotton is a fascinating figure because his resume reads like something out of a political thriller. Let's start at the beginning, because you cannot understand his politics without understanding his background. He grows up on a cattle farm in Yell County, Arkansas. He is incredibly smart, gets into Harvard College, and then goes to Harvard Law School. He gets a prestigious clerkship. He goes to work for McKinsey & Company. He is on the absolute fastest track to wealth and elite corporate power. And then the September 11th attacks happen.
Right, and instead of just writing a check or making a speech, Tom Cotton walks away from the law firm, walks away from the corporate track, and enlists in the United States Army. And he doesn't go in as a JAG lawyer. He volunteers for the infantry. He goes to Ranger School. He earns the Ranger tab and deploys to Iraq with the 101st Airborne Division, and later serves in Afghanistan. That decision completely rewrites his life. It gives him a level of credibility on military and defense issues that is almost unmatched in the Senate today. When Tom Cotton talks about the realities of a combat zone, he is talking from personal experience.
And that military mindset, the discipline, the intense focus on the mission, the absolute refusal to care about what critics think, that is exactly how he operates in the Senate. He was elected to the House in 2012, and then he immediately challenged a sitting Democratic Senator, Mark Pryor, in 2014. He won easily. At the time, he was the youngest senator in the chamber, and he immediately made waves by establishing himself as the intellectual leader of the national security right. He doesn't play the Washington game. He doesn't try to be best friends with the media. He is incredibly strict in his ideology.
Which brings us to the 119th Congress, covering 2025 and 2026. Because, Leah, Tom Cotton just got a massive upgrade in power. With the Republicans holding the majority, Senator Cotton is now the chairman of the Select Committee on Intelligence.
That is a colossal promotion. Being the chairman of the Intelligence Committee puts you in what they call the Gang of Eight. This is a very exclusive group of congressional leaders who are briefed on the highest level, most highly classified covert operations and intelligence findings in the United States. He now has direct oversight over the CIA, the NSA, and the entire intelligence apparatus. And he is using that gavel to aggressively refocus the intelligence community on two primary targets, the Chinese Communist Party and Iran. He introduced the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026, which directs the funding and priorities for all our spy agencies.
He is also deeply entrenched in the Committee on Armed Services and the Judiciary Committee. And let's look at how he uses that power. He is an absolute hardliner on border security and immigration. In July of 2025, he introduced a bill that made massive headlines, the Constitutional Citizenship Clarification Act. This is a direct challenge to how the 14th Amendment has been interpreted for decades.
Yes, this is a very aggressive legislative move. Currently, anyone born on U.S. soil is automatically a U.S. citizen, regardless of their parents' legal status. Senator Cotton's bill seeks to end birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants, foreign spies, and terrorists. He argues that granting automatic citizenship is a massive magnet that encourages the border crisis. He frames it simply: there is no constitutional right for someone to break into the country to secure citizenship for their children. He also introduced a bill in early 2026 to condition all federal highway funding on states cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. He is basically telling, quote, sanctuary cities that if they don't help deport illegal immigrants, they lose their road money.
He does not back down from a fight. We saw that vividly in late 2025 regarding the U.S. military strikes in the Caribbean. There was a major controversy when American forces struck alleged drug trafficking boats linked to the Maduro regime in Venezuela. Dozens of smugglers were killed, and there was a huge uproar from Democrats and international law experts who questioned the rules of engagement, especially regarding secondary strikes on the survivors.
And Cotton stepped right into the fire. While others were calling for investigations, Cotton, as the head of the Intelligence Committee, reviewed the classified footage, and publicly defended the military. He argued that the smugglers were not shipwrecked or incapacitated, but were valid targets in an ongoing operation. He completely rejected the criticism from the left, aligning himself firmly with a maximum pressure military strategy. It's a perfect example of his peace through strength philosophy. He never apologizes for American military action.
Domestically, he fights that same battle against what he sees as government overreach. In 2025, he introduced the Necessary Environmental Exemptions for Defense Act. He basically said that the Department of Defense shouldn't be handcuffed by environmental regulations when they are trying to build bases or test weapons. And in February 2026, he introduced a bill to preempt state-level climate mandates that he says are destroying the reliability of the American electric grid. He views energy policy as national security policy.
He represents a state that understands that. Arkansas is a deep red state. It's agricultural, it's highly corporate, with Walmart and Tyson, and it's very conservative. The voters there love his unapologetic style. He doesn't try to soften his edges. Whether he is demanding that we expel illegal Chinese police stations operating in the U.S. or fighting to keep the military budget high, he is remarkably consistent.
He is a politician who operates like a soldier. He defines the objective, identifies the opposition, and moves forward.
The Army Ranger who became the chairman of intelligence.
That is Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. That is our profile for the natural state. Stay tuned for our next profile. Please note, AI assists in the creation of this podcast from pointedwords.com. And remember, better pointed words than pointed swords.